We are about to begin. Are you guys ready? Ali Pakanse ba? Baba Chanzinguru ba Pakanse? Your cameras on, media. Are you okay? Okay. If you're okay, the meeting is called order. At Tiroyakgosi Public Accounts Committee. Ya simulula ke dumela gore matswana ba ntse ba emetse gore re simolole tiro ya rona mme ya rata gore simolola yalo mare simolola hela ka go itsisana gore tere itsane gore bomang nna ke video taolo boipuso Lucas Parliament ya bobirwa ke modulasetilo wa committee ya public accounts Parliament. Honorable members, or Louis Kitisi Babahan.
Mr. Chairman, Makidumedise, Dividua Tele Pechele Member of Parliament, Kosaroa South. I'm a member of this committee. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good morning. Ketsokomole Polole, Mulapola South, Member of Parliament and member of this committee. My name is Honorable Uncle Shima Munachi.
Thank you very much. Honorable, please, it's your turn.
Chibidio Victor Billy Polaholo, Mo Parliament wa Kenya West, le local committee chair of finance and estimates. Thank you.
Dumela mbetso ke bidiwa gore tetse ke kgonegile le local committee mo parliamente ko Mau East.
Thank you, sir.
Ke a leboga ke bidiwa Sam Dirwa mo parliamente wa Butete West ke le local committee yone ya PAC. Ke a leboga.
Dumela magolo ke bidua Palelo Motaosane ke tswa ko constituency ya Thamaga Kumakwane ke le leloko la PAC.
Thank you so much. Renale maloko a mangwe ntse rena le boneha ba tla joina shortly. Honorable Jacobs wa Kolobatse tla joina shortly. Renale Honorable Mabeo go tswa go ga Malete tla joina shortly. Honorable Moalusi o kupile maitshwarelo o tla bona la mona go e tang. Mekiri yano ke tse sebaka se ke lo itsise gore gwaneha re na le the 3 AGs, Accountant General, Auditor General, as well as Attorney General. Re na le parlamente ka simula ka wena Auditor General o re itsise.
Good morning again, Chair and members. My name is Kineilwe Senyarelo, Auditor General.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your appointment as Auditor General. It took quite some time. But finally, we have a substantive Auditor General. Thank you so much. Accountant General.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, members. My name is Tebuko Tomango. Accountant General, thank you.
Thank you so much. Attorney General.
Good morning, honorable members. My name's Kushid Rosen-Khan, and I'm representing the Attorney General. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The clerk.
And then the clerk of the National Assembly.
Good morning, Matuteri. Bote, Gabriel Malebang, Clerk of the National Assembly, and the first Secretary for this committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clerk.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Kibidua Helen Getsajwang. I'm the Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly and the Secretary to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Clerk. PC. Introduce yourself, please. Thank you so much. We now turn to our visitors.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right. Technical advisor, how do I possibly leave out the technical advisor?
Good morning, Chair. Kibidia Hamangu Lebele. I'm the technical advisor to the committee on auditing and accounting matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much. He's our technical advisor, very important man. And you should get very close to myself. I don't want this distance. Yes, now our visitors, the ombudsman or the ombudsperson. Please introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair. Stephen Tiroyakgosi, Ombudsman, as defined by the law. Is an ombudsperson yet.
Thank you very much, Tiroyakgosi, for the correction. As defined by the law, you are the ombudsman, all right? Okay. You are accompanied by?
I have my manager corporate services, Ma'am Paul Mataba.
Okay. Normally what we have is the chief executive officer and then the finance person. Yes. I wonder if you have your finance person.
The finance person, Miss Kaudi, what happened to her? She was downstairs.
We're talking money here. We cannot talk money in the absence of a financial person. Unless if the ombudsman, defined by law, is competent on these matters.
No, I think, Chair, we have our respective functions and authorities defined by law.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll stick to those. She'll find her way here. I think. I think good teammates, Chair.
Teammates. Oh, okay. No, mire, Ratsabra, ha le lotare mitisi. Mi tiweri chere matwich isimula jana, simula ka gore bonnele maikano. Maikano agora se tabo se bua gone ha ke bua maruri ile bua maruri se sepe gape e le gore ha o sa bua bua maruri o ene o le agente re tiro go se wa itse gore ga eng o bua bua maruri mme o ikanne ga go amogelesege mme pele ga maikano mma ke hitise mahoko a mabedi ke ya tiro ya rona e re simolotse mo letsatsi la gompieno ke go leba dibuka tsa madi tsa puso mme ya la ka ne re le boleletse mo ngwaga o hitileng ne re leba dibuka tsa madi tsa 2021-2022 mo ngwaga o hitileng go ithala ka kgwedi ya July gompieno re leba dibuka tsa madi tsa ngwaga wa 2022-2023 seo se raya gore re saletse ko morago mo go dupeng le go sekaseka dibuka tsa madi tsa puso re saletse ko morago ka dingwaga di le 3 gone mo ke seemo se se sa amogelesegeng mme se utlwala gore se ne sa dirwa ke gore e rile ka motha mongwe go bo gona le bothata ja ditsamaiso tsa puso tsa madi tsa gaps mme gone mo go gora gore sala ko morago mme ke seemo se re tshwantseng gore re se lemoge jaaka re tabo re buisa dikgantsonetse re saletse ko morago ka 3 years mme re ntse re bua le ba accountant general gore ba leke go hehosa tiro ya bone gore e re mo nakong ya ngwaga bone bo ba dirile se ba tshwanetse go se dira ba kgone go letelela ba auditor general go dupa dibuka tsa bone go sekaseka dibuka tsa bone mme ba kopile gore re se ka ra ba director mme ke batla gore ke dirise sebaka sone se gore ke ba patike ke ba pateletse ebile go nne mo mokwalong gore mo ngwaga o tlang ka July re tabo re solo hela gore bone mme ba tlo ba heditse thulaganyo ya bone ya go kgobokanya information ka dibuka tsa madi tsa puso mo go rang gore gone mo go tabo go salela ba auditor general gore ba audite re tere patike ga gore le rona ka kwano re tere itebaganye le go examina maphata ka gore ha go sena report ya auditor general ha gona ka ha re ka bitsa meeting wa mohuta o re kwa public accounts committee ya parliament so go botlhokwa thata gore tiragalo eo e diragale mme se motho a ka se supang gone ha ke gore le mo ngwageng wa gompieno ba Auditor General ba re bolelela gore opinion ya di accounts tsa puso is a qualified opinion. Yo mongwe motho ha a sa tlhaloganye teme ya madi e ka ra utlwe go is a qualified opinion a ba ra gore a ba tsa gore ra gore nya dibuka tsa puso di siame thata di qualified nya ka teme ya madi ha go te qualified opinion go ra gore ba lemoga gore dibuka tse di mo seemong se se sa amogelesegeng di na le diphatlha tse dintsi di na le makoa a mantsi a sa le teng gore di hitisiwe gore ke dibuka tse di siameng kana mme re bua jaana e le gore ngogola ne re le bolelela gore ke ngwaga wa bo 7 dingwaga di ntse di thomagane re nna le qualified opinion ya di-account tsa puso go raya gore gompieno ke ngwaga wa bo 8 ntse re thomagane dibuka tsa puso di neelwa a qualified opinion. Seemo se ke seemo se se tshwenyang se se tshosang ka gore se raya gone gore jaanong tiriso ya madi a puso e na le diphatlha gale le gale tse di tshwanetseng go kabiwa ke seemo se ne ke re ke se kgaogane le lona le ta lemoga gore ta re bua le maphata ka go harologana mme ha re ntse re bala Auditor General's report go supa dikgang tse di tshwenyang thata mabapi le tiriso ya madi. Auditor General o ntse a presenta mme ebile go mo reporting ya bone gore go na le bothata ja gore go na le batho ba ba teng ba duelwa ba sa tshwanela go duelwa mo go overpayment of salaries dikgang tseo di teng tse dingwe di oketsegile go heta jaaka ne re di bona ka 2021 2022 go na le bothata jo bongwe jape ja gore go na le melemo e leng gore e ya expire mme value ya one e le go godimo ke ne ke utlwa technical advisor o ka re melemo e expirileng ka ngwaga o neo wa 2023 e ne e le gore yaanong ga se thola e ka dirisiwa value ya yone e tsamaya ko go 95 million. I guess that is right. Ne ke re ke botsa technical advisor ga ya madi a tsietsa ka 95 million e le melemo e leng gore e expirile kana gore a ke a thola e dirisiwa a ke re wa rialo Auditor General.
Yes, sir, Honorable sir.
O tobetse gore ba te ba go utlwe le ha se le go utlwe gore wa re melemo e expirileng e ne ka cost about 95 million ka ngwaga o le wa 2023 ke re ke sengwe se ne ke re ke se itise go na le counterfeit and fake medicines so di costang around 16 million gore o ka bona gore ka nako e re buang ka lethoko le le kana la melemo mme bo gona le diemo tsone se ke seemo se se tshwenya hela thata sa bo helo batho betso ke gore setšhaba le parlamente tota ebile parlamente le setšhaba ba supile matshwenyego a gore Public Accounts Committee a tsena mme ba batla go itse gore ya ka e tsena jaana go buiwa dikgang mme dikgang tse di helela kae setšhaba se supile matshwenyego a gore o ka re jaana gore tabo re taga e be ya rona e nna kgang hela e nna puisanyo e senang maduo mme ke e sologetse setšhaba gore jaaka re tabo re tsena jaana re tabo re tsena gape go ta go utlwa ka one maphata gore tse nne re di laetse tse nne re di kopile mo go bone di tsamaya kae ba ba sa dirang jaaka re ne re kopile re bo re laela komiti e ta tsa ditshwetso ka seemo sa gonna jalo ka ha re berekang ka teng go raya gore re emela gore se re se kopile mo nako e hitileng se hete ka palamente palamente sa amogetse na represent report jaanong re na le bone accounting officers gore itebaganye le dikgang tse e leng gore ne re di dumalane mo nako e hitileng sorry sir ne re dumalane mo nako e hitileng tumelo gore mo nako ya gompieno ba dirile jaaka re ne re kopa ga ba sa dira jalo komiti e ta supa gore yone e akanya gore ke go dirwa eng ka ba sa direng se se laetsweng mme ke re ka magoko a kalo ke copyrights advocate Tiroyakgosi gore o eme ka dinao o te o ikane staff sa parlamente ke itse le sasa thata le mo thusegong gore ba bele nna ka kae o tsholetsa lebogo lehe a re direng jalo batho betso a re direng jalo re mo thuse ka tsholetsa lebogo le le tshwanetseng advocate wena o le advocate o le itse tota lebogo la teng ha ke sena gore I bo tsenya leina la gago re bo re tswelela. I
Stephen Tiroyakgosi,
swear by Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this Committee of Parliament
before this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Ra leboga ra Tiroyakgosi. Me konta go diana re tla go kopa gore jaanong o re neele a brief executive summary ya tselentse le di dira ko ofising ya ombudsman. 10 minutes.
Sorry, Chairman.
Sorry?
O ka re wa madi o tsile. Go ne go se botoka gore a tseele oath ruri. I thank you.
He wa madi. He e kana ne re kile ra kopa gore wa madi a bonale. Ke a leboga honorable Lesedi. Wa madi. A re tse maikano motho etso o tla re bolelela gore mang o tshwere babedi. Nyame tshuba motho etso. Tshuba motho etso. O tantsa la morago a ke re ai o tsenya leina la gago. Yeah, just hold. A ke re ai o tsenya leina la gago o bo re tswelela. I
Tiro Mohopa,
swear by Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
the evidence
I shall
I
give
shall give
before this Committee of Parliament
before the Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing else but the truth.
nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much. Nkgakole leina la gago gape?
Tiro Mohopa.
Go na le Tiroyakgosi le Tiro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Ne ke re ke tlhaloganye sentle. 10 minutes, advocate.
Thank you, Chair, and it's a pleasure to be before this committee again. It's a chairperson over the years. But it's like a mandate to our office of ombudsman. The office created under Chapter 212 of the Laws of Botswana in 1995 to deal with matters of complaints relating to maladministration by members of the public and to make recommendations in relation to those aspects of maladministration. But that as of now, we also have an additional mandate in relation to human rights breaches in the Republic by anybody, including non-government actors, and to advise government and other players on compliance with requirements of the human rights precepts that apply in this Republic. Chairperson will be focusing obviously largely in the original mandate because of the year in question. That is the year 22-23. Because the human rights mandate only came into play in July of 2023. The Office of the Ombudsman Chair continues to discharge its mandate. And for the year in question, we were allocated an amount of 43,642,000 for the recurrent budget and spent 39,396 of that. For the development budget chair, we allocated an amount of 7,642,000 and expended. So we allocated the amount of 12,800,000 and expended the 7,600,000 because we are not able to complete some of our projects. Revenue collection chair, we collected an amount of 28,611 pula against the projection of 21,810, showing an over collection of 31%. We coming to the core business. For the year in question, Chair, we had registered 803 new cases and resolved only 34% of those complaints, amounting to 273,000. But in addition to those 800 new cases, we had a backlog of 683,000, and we were able to resolve the backlog to the tune of 327 cases only, being 48% of the backlog. Chair, our biggest complaints come from the area of Gaborone, followed by Francistown, Maung, and our office in Tabong. We have 4 regional offices in Gaborone, Francistown, Maung, and Tabong. You would note that when you look at the resolution rate, we generally hover at around a resolution of 45 to 46% of the complaints placed before our offices. Some complaints are not resolved for various reasons that I will talk to later. At page 11 of our report, Chair, we have done a breakdown of the cases received per entity, starting with the Ministry of Defense, Justice and Security, down to the DCEC at the bottom of our list. The breakdown is as stated there. During the period under review, Chair, we were able to resolve the total 40% of the cases of the 1,486. That is both the new cases and the backlog. The challenges. Our primary challenges for the period in question were that we had just come out of the COVID era, and that had some residual effects because some cases were not dealt with speedily during the preceding 2 years. But also that we continue to have poor responsiveness to complaints and communication by various ministries, departments, and agencies. And then we had delays in implementing agreed corrective action, resulting in the backlog of the cases. A case, even if when you have finished an investigation, when you have not implemented corrective action, are falls into the category of backlog. We had several interventions, Chair, being to leverage on virtual consultations with ministries, submit unresolved monthly case lists to ministries and departments, and where there was recalcitrance, to issue subpoenas to compel attendance by respective officers. And internally, we would continue to examine each and every officer on their caseload to see what action they have taken in relation to the cases in their possession. Chair, we, over the period, tried to also do public education to address the public on the mandate of the office, to address stakeholders on the roles, functions, and how we can achieve the intended outcomes as per the law, to ensure that we have the citizens are aware of the services provided by the Ombudsman and deal with challenges. And we used various platforms such as broadcast, media engagements with permanent secretaries and other heads of department. Chair, I want to go to an area of concern that you note in our report. This area relates to a project, a very troublesome project that we have of office construction in Maung. This project was supposed to be a 6-month project, starting from October 2019 and scheduled to finish in April 2020. To date, Chair, the building still stands incomplete and stands at 56% since the contractor abandoned site in September 2022. Efforts have been made through the Ministry of Finance, through the ministries responsible for office construction to bring this project to closure, to complete it, but this has not been successful. We have engaged with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport, and the last undertaking was that we'll have a contractor on site to take off the project in September of this year. Chair, I believe that within the 10 minutes that I have, this is what I want to just give as an overview of what we have before this committee. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate. One of the key things, how to report o bo o re neela pego ya gore mo ngwaga o hitileng ha o le ha o no a kopiwa go dira eng ya mme o supe gore o kgonne go le kae. I guess that is what the information you gave to entities, technical advisor. Can you take us through what you've done in respect to the issues that we raised last time around, which issues are also contained in the PAC report?
There were two primary issues at the last time when we were here, Chair. The first one was to see methods of how we can make recommendations of the Ombudsman, which are not binding, to have more, or to be effected appropriately. You may recall that the law as it is does not make it compulsory for the Ombudsman's recommendations to be effected as if they were court orders. And what we have done, Chair, is to try to have a more persuasive approach to deal with those. But there are several options that one would look at. One option, Chair, is to actually amend the Ombudsman's Act, and we are in the process of working on areas of amendments to ensure that recommendations are complied with nonetheless. But we continue to pursue ministries to avoid engagement or to avoid non-implementation of this, so that we avoid having to go to court. But as we indicate, Chair, in other jurisdictions, the Ombudsman's findings are binding because it's by law they are deemed to, they are designed to be binding. But for the Republic of Botswana, that is not the case. I think it's to say here. So what we are doing is this: in the light of that difficulty, we have summoned permanent secretaries who are recalcitrant to explain to us why they have not done so. We have wanted to engage with Parliament to ensure that where there is failure, we submit, per the law, special reports to Parliament. The provision is there in the Act, Chair. The problem is that we cannot get statutory procedures to enable us to do so. And we've continued to engage with the clerk of Parliament to see how we can make that possible, so that ministries who fail to implement are called to account. And then, of course, the need to reform legislation. As I said, we are working on that.
ga ke itse ra members kana ke kgang e ne le kgang e lona le ne le itsitse ko ombudsman gore e re ha re goroga a ba ka re bolelela gore ba hetse ba tsere dikgato di do you want to have a bite at the explanation that he has just given? Right, so Honorable Monageng, then Honorable Thank
you. Thank you, Chairman. As the accounting officer has just mentioned that they summoned permanent secretaries to show cause as to why recommendations are not implemented. That was a good move, but we would like to know their response. What happened after you called them, after you engaged them? Because this is a very thorny issue of recommendations not being implemented. So what was their response after you summoned them?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Hakia Dumela accounting officer le team ya gago tsela re setse re dumedisana ga ke a go utlwa sentle mo go ya goreng kana o ne o na le dikgang tse no tshwanela ke gore nka bo di latedisitse tsene di kganela gore go nne le tswelelo pele mo go tswelediseng tiro ya gago mo go thusang setšhaba mme ngwa tsone ne le gore molao wa ombudsman ga ona meno ga o kgone go tseela batho dikgato yaanong gone ga ya nna kgang ya gore go tsamaela ko pele go ka siama gore molao wa ombudsman o banka nngwe gore ombudsman a kgone go tseela batho dikgato yaanong ga ke go utlwa gone ga gore a o tsweledisitse wa o baakanya kana wa re o sampole ka tse dingwe potso e nna gore o leka dihe batho ba ntse o bua le bone nako tsotlhe accounting officer di permanent secretary o ntse o bua le bone nako tsotlhe ba sa tseye kgato epe yaanong gompieno ke eng se se gore a ntse re ga o tsweletse o ntse o ba bitsa yaanong ba tla tsaya dikgato tse ntseng ba sa di tseye all along wa re ke eng o sa phesiwe tsela ya go tokahatsa act gore go he meno a go tsaya dikgato ha lephata le sa dire sengwe ke issue ya ntlha issue ya bobedi ke ya gore wa re molao wa go leta hale le hale gore o ka tsaya dikgato but at the same time you are still following what legal processes with the clerk go bona gore le ka dira jang ha ke tshware sente yone
ke tsa gore di bodisi gore gone advocate sengwe sa dilo tse di ka re thusang ke gore ha re kopile gore o re kaetse mo mokwalong gore o dirileng ka dikgang o dire jalo mme ebile gape o tsenye mo mokwalong gore tota ne le buile ka kganye tse di latelang ke tse ke di dirileng is very important because re na le seemo se e leng gore re ka nna ra nna re sologediwa so se bengwe hela nako yotlhe se sa diragadiwe mme o ka araba dipotso raitso from Honorable Monageng and Honorable Kekgonegile mabapi le gore tota concretely what have you done o ne gore ga gona statutory protocols tse di ka go letang gore o hende ko parlamenteng dikgang o hetso ke lo a bua le tlaka o ile le ene ga kae a go gana ene go tsa go palelwa ene come clean on that one.
Thank you, Chair. I think let's start with the legislative reform. Chair, the legislative reform in relation to the Office of the Ombudsman has been an ongoing, if I have to call it, work for over almost 18 months because it's meant to cover several aspects of the legal framework, including, amongst others, ensuring that the Ombudsman is compliant with international standards in two respects. It must comply with standards on ombudsmanship, but also as the national human rights institution must also comply with international standards on what national human rights institutions are. It is work that entails a lot of consultation with stakeholders, not just in government, but outside of government. And we have been working on doing that to ensure that, one, the office is compliant with the international best practices. Two, to also find how the law can be enhanced to allow the Ombudsman's recommendations to be legally binding.
Advocate. Advocate.
Yeah.
Where are we now? Do we have a draft bill? Or what we have?
We are preparing,
concretely?
we are preparing instructions, Chair, to the Office of the Attorney General through the Minister of Justice.
Or you are still preparing?
We are preparing those. Because as I said, it's a lot of involved work.
Members, you know, we know this is a very critical issue because it comes from us. We had said, do all you can to ensure that some of the weaknesses found in our laws are attended to. But I can read it and think, in the 18 months, I consult the stakeholders. Draft bill or when the less pairless concrete. I can also have a hotel. Talusui Nelo and Ki advocate. Kiaganyore, Homere, it's a case, Yagore, Tiro, Homahaya, the right Jaga, Homerka Hosohal, Miribo Ricari, advocate, Tiroe, Garta Qualawane, Tiroe, Wakanyor Tiro, Eka Hela Lane. So that
no, I think, Chair, this can be completed before the end of the financial year.
This financial
year.
Okay.
Yes.
Members? Members?
Honorable I don't seem to understand the accounting officer's reasoning. Ghana Ombudsman was established for a purpose. But from the recommendation of the last PAC, I don't see any changes so far. If you do see changes, can you tell us changes that you have effected since the last sitting? Because the recommendations they are not enforceable at all. Are you happy with the status quo? Are you happy that your organization is toothless? You can't do anything so far. What have you done to ensure that our recommendations are effected?
Let me just finish with the last one. Then the issue are the statutory protocols. As I indicated, when you look at the Ombudsman's Act, the Ombudsman is entitled to lay a special report for recalcitrance before Parliament, but that it is subject to there being processes in Parliament that need to be clarified as to how this is laid, so that I need report Parliament. But once it is laid before Parliament, what can Parliament do, or how does Parliament treat the report? And as I indicated, Chair, we have sought engagement with the clerk, but I think for the 6-7 months that we've been engaging with the clerk, they have been busy with other responsibilities, and we've postponed the intended meetings on several occasions. But as to the last question by Honorable D, I think, Chair, subject to the law being changed, we will continue to use powers of subpoena, which we have, to compel permanent secretaries to appear before us to explain. But to the extent that accounting officers in other government departments do not see the recommendations as binding, and recommendations should be binding not from the legal perspective, but from the moral perspective of the accounting officers also having undertaken to do certain things, which they have not done. To have responded within certain times that they have not done. And because the Ombudsman is not going to be the surrogate of courts, otherwise we'd have to then get orders, court orders. But the law doesn't allow us to get court orders to compel permanent secretaries to do as is concerned. But then there needs to be a platform where they're able to account for non-compliance with Ombudsman's orders or recommendations.
Okay. Sorry, Mudula Steele. I don't think I'm answered. Accounting officer, you are the one running that office. And there is a reason for the existence of that office. But now when you are asked, you don't seem to give answers that shows how much involved you are in seeing to it that your organization is effective and it does help people outside there. What is difficult in actually drafting a bill that has to be taken to Parliament in order to help you enforce the recommendations? How long should that take? Because now I don't see anything that has been done so far.
You are saying by the end of the financial year, this exercise will be complete. Yeah, review, yeah, act. Yeah, no, potso hone ha ena hore a worry the bill by the end of the financial year. Where we are talking July 2027 will be more parliamente. Or are you saying you will issue instructions by the end of financial year? Because it took you the whole year, the whole financial year. You haven't issued instructions. You may worry the process will end by end of 2027. I think that is the challenge here, Hore. You don't seem to be proactive in terms of this review. Me go lebega wena o dumela hore this review ke yone e ka tisang tharabololo mo bathong ba ba dumelang hore ga ona meno ha o ka ke wa ba re sepe le ha o ka ba supina o bontsha recommendation bona ha bana go dira, but you are not acting.
And my response, Chair, I thought is very simple, that the review of the Act should be wholesome. Or we shouldn't just be looking at enforcement of recommendations. But there are other aspects that have been brought into question about the totality of the Ombudsman's Act, including, as I said, compliance with international standards. And we need to address those. And we need to reflect on those. We need to take advice from various quarters and engage everybody, it's the interested stakeholders, to see how we can improve that. Otherwise, we'll then go to Parliament and say, okay, we want to amend the following aspect of the Act. Then things will stay behind. But we're looking at a comprehensive review of the Act to cover all the shortcomings that we think need to be put in. Everything from appointment of the Ombudsman to processes, to compliance with international standards, to funding, etc.
Advocate, worry, your view about this, or your opinion is very simple. But I want to indicate to you that it may be simple, your explanation may be simple, but according to members, your explanation is inadequate and unsatisfactory. Go supa gore ma-parlamente ba re ha o lebege ke to o proactive enough in respect to the legislative reform that you see necessary, and in respect to statutory protocols between yourself and Parliament. In relation to the issue estimation ya rona le wena ke gore ka July next year you want to work such that this law will hit the shores or the chambers of parliament. Is that something that you are agreeable on?
I'm agreeable to that, Chair.
That you'll work on that,
We'll
right?
work on that.
Then number 2, in terms of statutory protocols, are you going to be pursuing them, or now that the law is considered for amendment, how go statutory protocols? So then me already solo heads alay. Our parliament is really busy thata for the past 6-7 months. So then me already solo heads alay.
Chair, so 2 things. So the first one, we agree on,
Yes.
on the 7 months. But also that if we agree on a legislative reform, it should not stop us engaging with Parliament to ensure that certain aspects, such as even submitting our annual report, are clarified. So this needs to be handled with immediate need. And if my brother the clerk says, come next week I'll be there to sit down with him.
So this process, or sitting with the clerk, consulting with stakeholders, you know, we are doing this because timeline. Chance next year statutory protocols. How much time are you giving yourself to get done with this thing? Or matata get luck?
No, Chair, I think I can commit the clerk that by end of July will be done.
Yes.
Here.
By end of July,
by end of year, I will drag him to wherever, even if it means issuing him and the speaker a subpoena to appear before my office.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So we can agree for end of July between me and the clerk.
Yes. Ya molao le statutory protocols re remove to another level. There was an issue about the Ombudsman's office in Maung, abandoned in 2022. 4 years later, still abandoned. But
yes, Chair. Mogoyone kana bauma ka hore. They have only utilized under 60% of the development budget. Why such a low figure? Less than 60% of the development budget has been utilized. But again, I didn't get it really clear from the advocate regarding his engagement with your colleagues, even the permanent secretaries. When you engage them, what did they say? What challenges do they have to implement your recommendations? Because as colleagues, definitely, during your engagement, it's either you are happy with their responses or not. And if you are not, what action do you take? But my main issue, what do permanent secretaries say regarding their failure to implement your recommendations? They might be having challenges or something.
Advocate?
Thank you, Chair. I think in terms of the non-implementation, when you look at the outstanding matters, a lot of them involve payment of monies to complainants. And largely when we issue the recommendations, at any given financial year, the response would be that we had not budgeted for that type of payment, and therefore it's moved to the next financial year. And there's always an undertaking that will then budget for that. But then when you issue a recommendation ka December, the budget train has passed for the next financial year. So they have to find money somewhere, and they struggle to pay those monies.
So, hang has gore ba gana kore ga gona madi kgotsa ya re
No, like in certain instances they'll say, yeah, we are not required to pay that. But in most cases where we have issued the recommendations, they will say, Habana Mahati.
Okay. Baba Hana, gore batho ba di permanent secretary ba ba go hang ba go paledisa tiro a kere bana le foromane ya bone ke PSP o eto re go gongwe ha ba ketem ba go kata thogo teng o itshwaraganye le PSP gore kana yo ya ke o ganang go diragatsa ka gore ne rena le PSP gone ya ngwagola bua gore nya ba ba dirang jalo ba ba ganang o ka ba tsela dikgato. Do you interact with the PSP?
We have not interacted with the PSP that way, Chair, I must admit.
Is that something that you could do to ensure that permanent secretaries comply?
We could do that, Chair.
I propose you do.
Thank you.
Honorable Sedi, sorry.
Me yone eo Chair. Ha se re gongwe re ka mo kopa gore a submit a list of recommendations that are di sitseng ko maphateng, even if it's a case by case one gongwe in terms of statistics, because tabe re na le maphata gone ha gore gongwe le one re ka ba thusa re ka go thusa to try to find out gore why are they not responding.
Yeah.
No, I can do that even now, Chair.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, me note that one because my partner thing behind the go. So what ba talo se re king ba gana go diragatsa tse di tshwanetse go dira le di ka molao. Honorable Sedi.
Ke a go leboga Mr. Chairman. Ya ne ke re on accounting office tota ha under a memorandum of progress o supile ra gore under your warranted provision o nile le an expenditure.
I get to Honorable Sedi go re tshware ya madi home.
Yes.
We have a specific section for it.
Oh, all right. Setzer le ka kwa. O batla setzer le ka kwa.
Gore ta go enela yo ne o di kana wena wa madi.
No, it's fine. Thank you, sir. Make botse.
Ne wa tara website.
Make botse engwe ya la ke. Kana Mr. Chairman, o na supa gore o khonna go resolve ha ke ira di percentage o khonna go resolve 23% ya di cases tse di around Gaborone. Me tota ke lebile gore kana Gaborone ke yone headquarters mo eleng gore motho o ka dumela gore gona le more resources gona gongwe le kodising tse di kwente gongwe a kwa tlhalosa seemo se gore a le gore o ka resolve 23% cases. What more about kukutabong go sena the resources like mo headquarters? I thank you, Mr. Chair.
The breakdown at KC as we had submitted, you'll see that Gaborone for the year in question had 424 complaints compared to say Francistown, which had 188, almost 4 times the Francistown. But when we look at the numbers of legal investigators, Gaborone only has maybe 4 additional investigators over and above the Francistown, which is the second biggest station. So the upshot being that the investigators of Gaborone are overwhelmed. But also we must remember that the investigators also are the ones who are responsible for doing public education. So whilst the investigations, they then get dragged into other functions outside of investigations. And the Gaborone region is very big, Chair. Can I see more like Mahalape, Ehalako, Costa we found it to be dramatic. Handled by about 8 investigators. But that's a common problem. So if you take, say, for instance, the Maung office was similar to Gudigua. We were here Charles Hill, Bahoya, Kuparakarungu. So the resources are very thin on the ground. So whilst wasn't available public education, it means for 2 to 3 days cases didn't. So this is why the ordinary, even from our side, was a law with the requisite speed.
Okay.
Point of clarity, hello, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Kana we are on the region. Aba we are raise from Mahala to Stresen Dam. While Banal office is confusing. Who can clear the mystery? I thank you, Chair.
Hey, just allow him. You want to add on to?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Ke batla go tlhaloganya gore ga go te di investigator ke tsone di dirang public education. Are you saying you don't have officer public relations? Kana, what does it do?
Hey, yarabe tsote right so. Are o ka how we ga present am. Azure on nation to attend we ke tsabo. Gona le gore attend we ke ga borona. And then the two offices.
Tabung office only has 2 investigators who cover from Strezendam to Hukunzi. Therefore, the Gaborone office has to support them by availing additional people to deal with some of the cases. Because Hukunzi, for instance, the investigator who goes to Hukunzi from Tabung, it means people to also handle other cases in Tabung, to do public education, jaro. So it's a small office, very small, 2 investigators only. There. PR.
Yes.
Before he goes that far, I don't understand the reason behind taking an investigator from Gaborone to assist those in Tabung. Why don't you maybe assign another officer and transfer him to Tsavo to help there, than keeping him in Gaborone when you know very well that those in Tsavo cannot manage the workload? Isn't it too expensive to do that?
It's a question of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're just moving one investigator in Gaborone who was handling, say, 60, 70 cases to go to Tsavo. Then it means where the 60, 70 cases have to be now spread amongst those Babama Gaborone.
Yeah. I would me carry the efficiencies tsa go dira yalo. Go ke tsone tsa di question na gore. Ha ile gore le bona go thoka ja ko ke le sa strengthen office ya te.
Then the
PR issue.
PR chair do work with public relations. So we with legal investigators. But we only have, as of now, 4 staff, 5 staff members in PR. To support the legal investigators in public education. And we believe that the legal investigators must be involved with the public education, because a lot of the work then gets very legal. Then once they provide a public education, they also take cases at the same time. So when we go and have a public education drive, go Ranaka, we then say we are going to set up a stall Ranaka for the morning or for the day. For public education, then somebody must be taking complaints simultaneously for Basa Kwanong Gaborone or go to the next office.
Mr. Chairman,
please.
Sir, I go and tell this public education, and tell me how many of those you conducted in the last 2 months. Tell me about the last one. Lidira jang, lidira kokai, lidira jang. Haki khusufal karbo Lea gore officer public relations why is a lead, why is on Iran public education. Also inform us as to there are many platforms that you can use for this public education. The world is using social media, for instance. What your communications strategy in a little the platform defense of the dirisang tse eleng gore ware the officers tsa gago tshwantse go dira public education mo kalokalo ko radiong. What do you have? Are you using government media? What are you using government media to enhance your communication strategy?
Advocate,
Thank you for that question.
just hold so that by the combine.
Chair, I'm picking structural challenges within the organization in terms of staffing. As much as we picked challenge, ombudsman Hana Meno Takebeyalo, but I'm being civil. Hana Meno Agerar Hana Ditata, Zahotela Baturikat, and we have come up with a solution here by July next year. Hotabe Hodiraheti, Act Canability will happen Parliament, Balakaho, Bakai. But I think there's an issue here, structural challenges, that's staffy. Hongolione. Ombudsman, Office of the Ombudsman could be coming out clear to say, is it a problem? How best can the problem be addressed? How can we help as PAC, as a committee, in terms of ensuring that there is proper staffing within the Ombudsman? How do you propose it? Staff will analysis in Sinjang, let's our analysis in Sinjang, challenge king. Because once out to public relations and then happy batadira investigation me happy how live designation ya tsone harlohang ya bone harlohang mo gore yo o hiretswe se mo ki any other duties gore go diragala eng in terms of staffing. Is it a challenge kana has a challenge hela ke lona ba le sa staff le sa bam place am batho sente within the department so that the case ha gona le backlog moving from one year to another?
Thank you very much.
Public
Public relations, public education. When was the last one you did? Where social media platforms, are you using them for public education? Rhetoric, and then the structural staffing challenges.
Thank you, Chair. If you go to page 15 of our report, and I will read the paragraph on the modalities, we indicate that the Office of the Ombudsman used various media channels to communicate with the public in terms of public education, including 54 media features, 8 broadcast appearances, 78 media engagements, 30 heads of department seminars, in totaling 170 for the year, 170 interactions for the year. We do interact using various platforms, be it on Facebook or other means. And one would have noted, for instance, in the past week alone, the past 10 days alone, I have been on radio talking about various aspects of human rights. My deputies have been on radio, on TV, and other stuff, talking about the mandate, the office Arona. So for the past week alone, we've had close to 6-7 media engagements. We've posted issues on videos, statements, online, more Facebook, jalo jalo. So we try to use various platforms, say.
Chairman, accounting officer is Wadocha. Hakmut. Accounting officer Lardi, the investigator of the public education. Report the Hawaii public education. I'm going to Ranaka, for example, Ranaka. When was the last public education? You know, and I do a Basatapili Ranaka. Eban Samudufsi. Out the media feature, what is that?
What is that? Media engagement ke a utlwa gore a re ke ga ba ile ko radiong kana ba le ko medieng. Ga ke tlhaloganya gore ga go they had ga ke bone public education ya buang ka one ya ba dule mo ofising ba ile go set up ko ke ne ke batlang gore a wele ka one ke tlhaloganya gore ga re di ofisara tsa go di hasha go dira ba idirile ka ya bofelo.
Sorry, in addition to that, I think Honorable Kikonehile talked of structural challenges. But I want to know whether you have specific people assigned to do public education.
Yeah. Ketsaura ya rabere terewes. Kore se le motsega. O kare office ya ombudsman. Well, hona le khaya gore ga ena meno. Mme o kare le impact hela. Just the impact. I'm not a regular maybe on social media. Me hakiki ku to ombudsman ki o lere o hitile hong o ga ketsi o le ka go bakanya sengwe. Kere ga re tsididi ha ena meno million ga re tsididi nyana. E ka bata gore e oketse mogotenya. But me araba dipotso tsone tseo. Ke batla gore ra pele ha o di araba kere kana go ha gona le tse re notileng advisor. Gona le khanya ya list ya di organization the ministry departments tse ileng gore di lebega di kare ga di comply akere e o rile yone o taitisa almost immediately
hela ke emela
hela ha o emela
be ke me kinela
akere ria ibile ano go supagala mo report ya ha gore defense, justice and security ke ngwa tse di leader akere mo di KC a ke tsora mo resolution in dia leader go tsaya mera defense, justice and security go ntha gore batho bangwe ba ba dumelang gore ombudsman o ka ba thusa mme go nga sa ba thusi go ke masole defense, justice and security.
No, there was a very peculiar situation, Chair, arising out of maybe constraints at the administration of justice, particularly Kokoba High Court. Yeah. And of course, yes, we had a few of those from other agencies.
So that list you say you provide.
I'll provide the list.
And members, please, this is a big issue. I'm wondering if you know, asa na ra sale morago ha di ministry di goroga tse leng gore o taba go supahetse gore ga di sale morago di kgang go sa di comply a ta kgone gore a di beelite ya bobedi ke PSP and non-compliant PSs yone no ka dira mona go ikae just hold. I just want to
before the end of this month ke be ke bone PSP
pa di khantse wa kere
yeah
ke a leboga me nkarabele dipotso tsene di tswa ka go gore mabeo le ka go radio
ke tla simolla ka okay ya ga re mabeo che you know one of the things about doing the public education in the manner that we've been trying to do, say for instance for the past year, because we can't go out because of lack of resources. So good hope. You now have to find money. So for the past few months, we've struggled to actually do those activities. I cannot say specifically more 5 60 public education because we had to then prioritize other activities, including investigations that we've been carrying out. Structure, Chair. We have submitted a structure to the upper panel, which has been approved, setting out how the Ombudsman as a dual mandate organization is set out. We have said over and above that, we have submitted what is called the deployment structure. In terms of human resources. Over and above the current number of people that we have, which is around 110 people, we asked for an additional 22 more the deployment structure that we submitted. The structure was accepted, but the response was that we will not fund those 22 positions. So much as we indicate the structure was accepted, but the money is not there to operationalize the structure.
Here. Ke tsa gore ba re likile khaye gongwe ga e wele ka ha parlamente ba batang ka teng honorable Mabeo na o ka re ke motho o passionate thata ka khanya public relations and public education gongwe o nne le wena raitso o thusa gore go ka dirwa eng gore ombudsman a utlwa le gore o teng gore ko bo Streisendam le ko bo Godikwa imela rango ka tsena go kana ba ba mitsi ka gore malaitsa ga go re wetseng this aspect of it ne ke batla hela gore ne la assurance ka khanye ya maung office ya ombudsman ye re ra kontraka go sala ka abandon ka 2022 gore kana ke 4 years ya no antsa abandon go go re ne la go finance o ka ra go tshwarege. Just take us through very briefly. September, just take us through this very briefly. When a building is abandoned, the likelihood is that Highland Tehompieno, who maybe they have vandalized you, I'm going to tell her, please do offer immediate everything.
In fact, it's a very painful issue, sir, because apart from just being vandalized, now we have to hire my security and that building, and we've been doing that for the past 4 years. It's a procurement process. Now we've budgeted over the years. We have written to the ministries responsible, the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure. And we have engaged even project implementation, co-finance, and they assured us, September they would have procured the necessary consultants to redesign the way forward, not even to get a contractor on site. If you get what I mean.
So in September, it's not about the contractor?
Maybe we'll have the contractor on site, but Harlan thing, they have not even engaged the consultants, the architect, the structural engineers, to make sure the contractor has a
Kana khaye ke ministry wa infrastructure
transport infrastructure
and infrastructure gore re buitse me hare bo batara ka bo bona ko
go taka nna madi ke a batlile checking ka rialo
are so go khone go go mau wena ile wa itse re
thank you Country officer, have you been to the office way boy
ke bonya
Highland thing you talk at the consultant
o tla itla re gompieno yana some of the walls decreakile, some of the plastering has peeled off, therefore e tlhoka batho ba re ba se gona gore go tlhaela ha kae gore re ka tsweledisa seemo sa teng. The trusses ke tsa tshipi, so we need to ensure gore are they still safe and sound gore ga tla gape gwa marulelo mo go tsone.
That building is not roofed.
It's not roofed.
Yeah. Can I get a building yours at the
Yeah, not I remember when I was last there, unless my memory does not serve me correctly. It is a real because this is where I'm concerned about the strength of the trusses.
Building yele it has been roofed. Building yele it defense there. Building yele e pentive.
No.
E ba bileng le maitamo junior. sekele ke
sekele ya ko ya matlapana
sekele ya matlapana ke mantu ha se office
but ke ra gore gone ha sorry maitlamo in the area ya Spatela, the same area as Spatela. But I think that there's a different building.
Accounting officer, can you maybe
check out there's a different building that he's referring to.
Niki itur ke a kere ke itur kana o foromane o le mogaboro na ngwe di odina thatanya ya no ke bata mo wa di officer tsa a go seba sebele a kere ka gore ga tsa oath a go sebetse hela gore re ha kai mme ke a mmona ebile o ithaopile ke yore e 30% o sebetsa wena hela wena o ta
No, indeed, Chair. He confirms. Ki makotswana hela perilo di trust. I believe that the
perilo di trust
on the perilo that's CP. And hence, maybe even the soundness, maybe it's in question. I think the honorable member is talking to a different building from another entity. It's almost complete, to the best of my knowledge, that particular building. You know what they were building some junior secondary school.
Okay.
Okay,
that's fine. I think Honorable Mabel,
I was
the last one on Mau.
Okay, I was interested. Kuta accounting officer ba le dijara ba ntse ba budgetela yone this building. Me o confirm gape gore go tla some consultant who's going to assess as to how much ke botsa gore no le budgeta la mo le fifing kana le budgeta le jang le guide king.
No, at the time when we started the budgeting, the ministry is responsible and indicated that we would need an additional 20 million to complete. So on the advice that we had received. But now that the building in the whole we need to really get into it and see how it makes local clock going forward.
How le ga gore kana ke 20 tse puso e lusa madi ka tsone. Building ya riwa ya abandonwa go tswetsa dingwaga it dilapidates gore na go ete go tia dirwa go ba di consultants e gore madi auditor general madi ano a palama go gaisa kana go simolotswe go akaungwa ne ke re ngore hete ka yone re solohela gore September no re solohela
solohetswe ke hilo in check or September a contract will be on site, but
the contractor will be on site in September.
But the reality is that it will not happen. I must tell you that, Chair, honestly.
When
Hi, by here the consultants, consultants who are going to design the contract between Hormente and contract, when they have not even procured that contractor, the informants,
so go so we go September yo kwadilweng ho ga se yo ka diragadiwa
ka tumelo ya me ga ka iragala
o kwadilwe o ka ra o buiwa hela
maybe it was a commitment, but the project is lagging behind.
But what have you done about that accounting officer?
That is why, Chair, I actually went to project implementation, co-finance, I've written, we've communicated over the years. They took that commitment, we will fast track.
Yeah. Let's take note of
Chairman.
Financial thing.
Project, I'm not very sure, is this the right figure? It was budgeted for 12 million. There is a 12 million construction. But what in your estimation, how much do we expect to spend on this same project by the end of its by the time it is completed? In your report, you indicated that the completion date was extended to 2021, and you have not actually said what actually made it to fail to be completed by this period, because the initial completion date was the 12th of April 2020. Then you extended to 2016. Now you are talking of September 2026. So what is the challenge in actually having this office constructed? Did you pick the rightful contractor to work on this? Well,
ke batla o ikopanya le Ramtausane ibile kutile ke toka una le ngorego ya o ka go supiwa ka thaule le goa Ramtausane it's okay you dule mo timing
ke dule mo timing thata hela le gone engwe ke yone ne ke batla go itse mathata a gore project ke ene sanetle but let me forgo that one ke nna ke batla go bua ka bodiredi bo nang le bone bo e leng gore bo ya ko dikgannye tse o itlhelang di le teng mo ofising tse di tlang ko ofising ya lona ka gore I hear from a lot of people ba e leng gore ba ikuela ko ofising ya me ya kgaolo e le gore ikete ha dikgang di a go ombudsman di diega mo e leng gore ba hella ba itlhoboga and there are cases utlhela di tswa ko labor by the time ombudsman ka kwa le ene go ngale ka go dira kwa sengwe le sengwe se senyegile go ngwile go tsere disutso kana kompone ha ile gore motho nna ikuela khatlhanong le kompone tswetswe kana ile ga yone kana project e hedile so ga go nne le any effect o ikuela ko go lona. What's your take on that?
di kopanye le ga re mabeo re tabora go di financial re sedi
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, na ke na le concern ya gore re tla fa jara le jara re bua selo se sengwe fela ke gore Chairman, this issue ya building e go Maung, who must be held accountable? Whom is it on the Department of Buildings, and who's going to hold them accountable? Le rona re le committee ke gore re ska ya nna ka re tla fa e ka re ke talk show kana ka re ga gona I mean ako o re kopele puso e ntšhwa segolo gore di recommendation tse di ba di neelang ako ba di diragatse go senya le re bitse mo a Satlefa, or who do we give this report to? Kana ke Minister of Finance re bitse one of the ministers Satlefa, re bo supine one of the ministers, Chairman. Your committee is trying, you are really trying, sir, but ha ke kra tla fara tla go bua dilo tse le ka re ga gona, nobody is held accountable. Ke a kopa Chairman a go maiteko a gago la rona a go a tswe maduo.
Thank you. Me kayo neo ne ke ro committee reconsider because there are many of these abandoned projects. Go mo reconsider gore e re ha re tsamela go motsuo re kgobokanye this abandoned projects gore ministry responsible or even the minister, because parliament has said it gore ha e leng gore jana o kare dilo di put hand even the minister may be called in. So I think ari advisor tiro ya advisor gape ke go gakolola gore dumalane ya re simolole yaanong nko re gakolole ha re ntse re kopana le abandoned projects o re di notele and accounting officer give a short brief about the project re di kgobokanyetse gone gore e tere ko morago re tere kgone re bitse ba ba tshwanetseng ha e le re ka nna minister re o tabong a tshwanetse we will do that. Ha e le re ke finance we will also do that. Ke tsa gore ke mogopolone o ka gore out there but ba bona re bua hela dio di sa diragale. So I think advisor, please note that one for purposes ya gore re sale morago tota ene gore mang ke ma ke re o ka re tse di buang tsa gompieno o ka re transport and infrastructure o ka ke one mamma mo di projects e tsa mohuta oneo, but I think that is something that you should note. And then immediately we are going to release on the Khantamati.
Sure. The Office of the Ombudsman As I said, we have about 30 investigators countrywide, including Kipalamoting, Kurwahan, the Butela, about 30. Banriki investigator. And as I said, we continue to do investigations. We meet with Batswana who come here to lay complaints, or we go out and conduct, for lack of a better word, we call it clinics in the countryside, and take complaints, go Batung, where we go out to various localities, villages, towns, Jalo, Harrison of staying. And we continue to be challenged by distances. But we try to ensure that each and every case is given the due attention, that every matter and is processed through the supervision structures to ensure that people comply with turnaround times. But as we do so, we communicate with agencies outside of the Office of the Ombudsman. And when we communicate with them, a case should be completed within 5 months. Where the ministers don't respond, the cases are on.
Tota advocate ombudsman hana meno mi utsididi ombudsman nna ke dumela gore step up the pace re ko rutwe serodumo sa ombudsman hela se utwala o kgona go kopana le motho a gore a re na tota ke thusitswe ke ombudsman ga ne se ene ya malatsi a go kopana le batho ba go lela nna sela ke isitse gone ko ka gore le yone resolution rate ya 40%. Can I have a resolution rate of 40%? Han e le go grade you go sekweleng ka bele a D grade in terms of resolution rate. So nane ke re tsosa ndina nyana o ska ya batho ba le file. Honorable Lesedi a re tsene mo go tsa madi o ka re ga bana dikgang ntsi jalo mme o na le dikgang tsa itse. Just to lead us on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maria Koyo Kopangore Koyo, Mr. Chairman, ke Ragusimala mo page 25. Page 25. Under page 25, Mr. Chairman, here we monitor.
Okay. All right. Cholela niki hansi ke bisanya advisor. Cholela.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Page 26. Also, we monitor. More page 27. Table ya godimo yo leone we also monitor. Page 27 table ya kotaseo, Mr. Chairman. Okay, it's a memo. Yonele page 28. Me kana ya ka o ka gakologelwa, Mr. Chairman. Ke ne ke na le dipotso tse neng ke eleditse gore ke di direle e le general observations.
This is the time.
Bogolo jang a re bua ka warranted provision. Mr. Chairman, the accounting officer na supile gore o nnile le an expenditure kana ya supega ya about 4.2 million. Ke ne ke re go ngo ka tlhalosa gore why an expenditure ya madi a kana ka bo go ina go iragetseng go ngwa head this committee the overview. Ongwe potso ya bobedi ke tsa gore o ta dinota go tswa bobedi ne e le gore kana mo reporting ya go supega gore mo di non-moving advances o na le kra o kgonne go o kgonne jang ke batla go itse gore o kgonne jang gore o bo na le di non-moving advances e le record e nte jaana gongwe le gone o ka briefa this committee gore what happened ha re ya go ya di-private firms the retention money a sa duelwang kana na tsama up to 126,000 gongwe o tlhalose Mr. Accounting Officer gore why o sa duele di-contracts bogolo ya ntsone tse di-concerned ya bohelo ke ne ke batla go itse gore ka gore go lebega go na le outstanding issues tse e leng gore ne tsa bonwa mo meeting wa last sitting ya PHC gongwe ke kope gore ga go botoka gore o di submitted to Auditor General so that di auditiwe gore di kgona go nna teng mo reporting e tatanya ya sitting ya PHC. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sedi. Honorable observation. Thank you.
Yeah, more page 26. Salaries and allowances. Comments are the savings were realized as a result of a delay in filling of functional positions. Rentse re bua ha ka the 22 positions. Tse re tselang gore o ra gore tseo ke tsa ngwagao ha re bua ka ngwagao ono wa 22-23 issue ke gore a di-position tse tsone tse dine dia the functional positions where they filled kana le gompieno ke di-vacant and the structure se e dila another 22 to them. And then on page 27, case management system. There is a save of almost 50% of the allocated funds due to sharing of costs. It's a CMS project with other government departments. One would want to understand is the system working? E bereka sente hela e share jalo with other departments kana ha gongwe le safely but at the same time at the cost of quality service delivery. Thank you.
Konale, any other observation on the financials? Okay. The Maum project, Auditor General, have you come across it anytime? Auditor General?
No, sir. No, sir. We have not touched on it yet.
You have not?
We have no, Mr. Albert.
Okay. Okay. She wanted to know from the advisor this side, through the advisor this side, or a completion percentage. Okay. But does it really matter because they're not it's dilapidating? Oh, yeah,
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It does matter. I think what I was wondering was the percentage physical completion compared to the percentage of funds used. Are they commensurate? You know, there are times where you find that 90% has been used when the building has only gone or is only 10% complete. So okay. I just wanted us, I think what we could be advised on is the completion physically compared to the utilization of funds if they are commensurate.
I understand, and I think the advocate also understands. Yes. In the absence of further questions on this one, can you please advocate?
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Starting with Honorable Lesedi's questions.
Like I just Auditor General.
Okay.
The project was allocated an amount of 20 million pula, 20 million to 20.8 million. Expenditure as at the time was 5.6 million pula. Physical progress was 56%. And everything. Yes. So about 25% of the budget at the time was utilized to complete that, to achieve that 56% construction. It's our listen to the now, issue on this on the 4.2 million on the development budget. That this this related to the CMS project, which had been allocated 8 million pula. Then harra isimolla ba office ya digital transformation or no, rather than do an own isolated project case management. So there were 4 departments, being Rona, Land Tribunal, Industrial Court, Le Consumer and Competition Authority. We can fund a bit of your project through some resource that we have, more DTCO. Then but your contribution is going to be less because we are going to use part of our money. So the health there is only 4 million of the 8 million that we had been granted. Hence the savings 4.2 million. It's a the CMS is functional. We have it was hosted Kudi Severanza BTC. We developed like the platform. Then we are moving the platform from BTC to the government data network. So for the time being, since the inside the receive, but we are just for no this past 2 months, from an unreliable data network to the government data network, which we've been assured, Bereka is more effective than Kondenzer who's still a thing. But for the past few months, Negri, look at the CMS. The quality was up to scratch. But what are only email the platform in the rare who's still Mohoyoni.
So what is the implication? What is the financial implication? You have saved that 4 million. Now the 4 million that you have saved seems not to have paid dividends in terms of the product. Now you are supposed to move the product. $4 million, you're asking for more money.
No, we are not asking for it. We are not asking for any money.
Free.
BTC who still pay the contract. I get it. They would have been paid. We would have been paying anyway the hosting platform. But where your platform we can support our use. That is a GD and whole. We host the government data network. So have additional costs.
So BTC dwell to specific as host.
In a dual was even was a host. But then we are me, Sivar Sinelang. Kasser a very stable platform.
Chair, if we may ask, can our high government network from the onset in a hoster? Why did you opt for BTC when government network in a hoster? Given I think due diligence could have been made by then. BTC network hoster this system.
Yeah.
No, at the time there were 4 products. Like I said, Land Tribunal, Ombudsman, Industrial Court, the Consumer and Competition Authority. Sorry, Ombudsman, then Tribunal, Industrial Court, the Consumer and Competition Authority. But the feeling was that Haritali Mohojalo, Dikapala, GDN, hence the video. But then Baba was a locomoraho. But we still found out that platform wasn't able to host us. So that's where we go the government data network or then they have strengthened their capacity. GDN.
Okay.
Then the question on the non-moving, we don't have non-moving advances. I think, Chair, it was just a question of managing staff. For instance, there were no advances in particular, but other payments were paid kanako.
Na botsa bana gore lona le dira jang gore ba lona ba kgone go duela ka nako ke le na le system e nngwe ka thusa mabang ka gore di report tse di tetse batho ba ba sa dueleng di advances ka nako go lona le ka go ka tsogona le di lessons tse batho ba ka ithuta mo go lona
Totally nile go ba kotela and to ensure that they appreciate that they need to pay, that there will be consequences, including withholding of salaries or amounts owed in line with the financial procedures.
By implication, kore ba ba sa dueleng mo maphate a mangwe or go kotala ga teng ga go a lekana.
But of course, we are a small institution, so we can't compare ourselves, for instance, to Ministry of Health.
Okay.
But they have to deal with 6,000 miscreant employees. Rona ba tle ba le 5 ba le 6 so re gona re bua le bone ka bohego.
Ke tsa go ra buile batho be
I say it's chairman. Tshantse le dintsinya. Yes sir. Yeah, o di note. Gona le private firms 126,000. Ke mo sa duele account office.
Oh, okay.
No, the 126 it was retention for that project Yamaung. Then when we sorted out we then realized that they actually even owe us more than we owe them. Liquidated and assessed damages. So when we sorted out we found out that they actually owed us more at the LED. And therefore there was no need to then pay Madia retention. Otherwise,
account officer according to your records.
I'll need to clarify that. I can provide information.
ga se gore gongwe honorable ra gone gore ha ile gore e ntse yalo ga se gore gongwe le tswale se ka taga lebe ga ke tuka re ba kolotiwa
we can do that, Chair.
a se go dira
no gore ba tshwantse gore ba confirme sekoloto sa reng gona ana ba sekolotiwa bona then ha ba sena gonna ba se confirma gongwe morago ga dipuisanyo tsa gore what is happening jaanong ka nako eo between bone le dikontraka tseo e be le gore ba ka e tswala so that e ska appeara gape.
Okay.
Mme go na le ya bohelo ke tsa gore eo yone ya last sitting ya report ya PAC go na le di issues tse ke dumelang gore gongwe ya ka nne ke botsa a ga bone go le botoka gore gongwe a di forwardele to ba auditor general so that di auditiwe e be di ka ta mo sitting e latelang. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, definitely, Chair.
I can read the second aspect, the report is answered by providing the list. Okay, that's fine. Ke tsa gore re buile batho betso ke nako ya gore re tere ko ditšong tsa motshegare. My belief is that all that has to do with ombudsman se re ntse re di dumalana ha di ta dirwa jaaka di sologeditswe tseo rileng by the end of the day, end of September, by July, tsotlhe have been well noted here. Se motho a ka se rotloetsang hela ka ombudsman ke gore a re lekeng ka bojotlhe gore impact ya rona e utlwale mo setšhabeng sa rona jaaka Honorable Mabeona a bua kana ha gongwe malatsia you reach more people through social media platforms khona go ba reach ba itse le teng le ha gone resolution rate le go tase mehala le ko le ke go bona la go twala gore go itse gore le ka thusa batho ba le bantsi ba stranded tota ka go thoka go tsewa sente ke maphata a puso ke a leboga. Thank you very much. You can join us for lunch.